Successful Minds with Patricia Baronowski-Schneider, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet. Hear their stories and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Successful Minds with Patricia Baronowski-Schneider is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Patricia Baronowski-Schneider.
Hello and welcome back to Successful Minds. I'm your host, Patty Baronowski-Schneider. Today I'm joined by Jane Haridat, writer of the book Making Peace with Your Origin. She's a teacher, healer on sacred sexuality and soul embodiment, jet-set speaker, and multidimensional medium for VPs, couples, and groups. So thank you for joining us, Jane. Now tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Thank you so much, Patricia, for having me here and to receive this invitation. I really feel honored to be here and share lots of value together with you to the world. Yes, I'm Jane Haridat. I'm born in Suriname. Suriname is South America, and my ancestral lines are coming from India, and I really feel passionate about Hawaii. So it's...
Never been there, but it's on my bucket list.
Please come with me. Please come with me. And it's what I'm doing in daily life is I'm helping mostly entrepreneurs, but also people who are not entrepreneurs to return to their true essence by working on the blocks on their sexuality. Mm-hmm. And sexuality it's not about sex. It doesn't equal sex, right? So, but later on we will talk about it, I think. And what I'm doing is I'm organizing a lot of beautiful retreats to Hawaii, spiritual retreats. I'm working one-on-one with people, groups, and couples, just to make them find themselves again, just to return to their true essence and be happy and joyous in life again, and increase the success of their business and all layers of their life, improve their relationship with the children too. So it's... Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm also a medium. What does it mean? It means that I'm making things that are unseen, I'm making it visible for people. Visible, tangible, and also handleable. Mm-hmm. So they get a clear vision of what's the reason, the blocks underneath their problems, so they can work on it. So these are profound readings and healings, and I really feel honored to be able to provide this to the world.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't talk about stuff like this, so it's good to get your voice out there.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. Now, tell us, what do you mean by embracing your sexuality?
Embracing your sexuality, what I mean by it is just to embrace all the way you think about your own sexuality without judgment. The way you feel about your own sexuality, about your body, your womanhood, your manhood, it's all the whole spectrum of it, and not letting other people interfere with it. And, because that is something that we are used to, just to feel authentic and self-empowered. So because embracing your sexuality is, if we all can do that, just to embrace our sexuality, it is returning us to our true self by just accepting and loving ourselves.
Right. Yeah, because it's definitely such a hot topic, these past couple of years with, everybody, different genders and whatnot. It's just such a hot topic. And I think through the years, so many people were shamed into, this is what you have to believe, this is, whatever. And they, there's a lot of festering inside them because they don't believe that, they don't feel that however they were born, they don't feel that way. So being able to be outspoken about who they are and what they feel and what they believe in, is very empowering for them.
It is truly going beyond shame, guilt, and judgment by others. Yeah. And just to return inside of you. Mm-hmm. And feel what you really want and what is okay for you, and take care of your own boundaries. Yeah, that's something major, right, to do.
Yeah, for sure. Now, how can embracing your sexuality help you create your dream life?
can you imagine what is happening that if we all embody our sexuality, just embracing our sexuality?
Right.
The first thing, because I'm talking about embodiment, it means that we are deeply connected with our body. We are deeply connected with the true self inside of us, with the empowerment, the power that we have. We are unleashing the power within. So if we are able to do so, then our business will grow. Our personal life will grow. Our love life will grow. It is improving all layers of our life.
Right.
And, just feeling self-confident, accepting ourselves, feeling peaceful and harmonious with ourselves,
Right.
getting at ease with our lives. So that means a lot especially during all these challenging times we are in, right?
Yeah.
So it's so very important just to become more aware of who we are,
right.
by embracing our sexuality.
Nice. Now, how can we create a more open conversation around sexuality?
Just by getting educated, just to read about sexuality. And the main message is, know that you are not alone. We are all struggling. The whole world is struggling with our sexuality, right? It is a common problem. If we can call it a problem, it's a common problem. So we are not alone. And being it helped me just to become aware what I was thinking, to become aware of my own thoughts, and just to take it from a perspective of, am I judging myself? If I know that I'm judging myself, then I'm judging sexuality. And if I'm judging myself, I'm judging my sexuality. I'm having a lot of judgment on my body and all these kind of things, all the kind of topics, that are related to sexuality. It means that it will be difficult for me to talk about.
Right.
Because the openness starts here within. And the more we are open to ourselves, become aware of how we think about ourselves, the easier it becomes to talk about sexuality with other people.
Right.
And one of the things is also and it taught me also to be open, to be in peace with myself, to feel myself self-confident, and to be open to others, just to listen without judgment. Because that's very important, not being judgmental towards others, because everybody has a unique sexuality. We all have our own unique sexuality. So we all have our own rights just to be and experience our own sexuality just the way we want to.
Right. Yeah, we're all self-judgmental as it is. So, having someone else on the outside judging you just makes it worse.
Yeah, it makes it worse, just to become aware first. It was my first step, just to become aware of my own shame, guilt, and judgment on my own sexuality. Mm-hmm. And just to feel and discover, am I open? Am I really open to it? Right. Just to receive myself, and even receive all the judgments that I had towards myself, because by receiving it and recognizing it and embracing it, I could become open to other people and recognize what was happening with them.
Right.
It makes it more easier, just to be vulnerable. Talking from a place of vulnerability makes it easier for other people to recognize themselves in you.
Yeah. Now, what advice would you give to someone just starting out on their journey of personal development?
What the advice that I would give is it's very good just to make the start, because it takes a lot of courage. So the first step would be honor yourself. Start with honoring yourself, that you want to start this journey, because it takes a lot of courage. Mm-hmm. It is demanding a lot of vulnerability, just to open up. And the first thing I always do is, when people come to me, if I'm talking about my own practice and the way I work with people, is know the therapist, know the person, get familiar with the person you want to work with. Right. The first thing that I always do is, if people approach me asking me for a session, I always do a video call with them, always. Mm-hmm. I want them to see me. I want them to feel my energy, to feel safe. And if they feel safe with me, we can continue working together.
Right.
Because that's very important, you know. So look for someone where you feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you feel safe, you will open up.
Right.
And meanwhile, read about your sexuality and write down all your own convictions about your own sexuality and everything that are going on in your life.
Mm-hmm. No, it makes sense.
It makes sense, you know, and take it in baby steps. Baby steps.
Right.
Because working on sexuality is my own journey. I'm still working on it. I'm already working on it for 25, 30 years. It is an ongoing process.
Right.
And it's happening gradually. And it's an ongoing process. So be patient with yourself.
Right.
Be patient with yourself and first honor yourself that you're taking the very first step to work on it.
Right. Now, how does your work in sacred sexuality and soul embodiment help people to understand and accept their sexuality? And I guess tell us a little bit about, sacred sexuality and soul embodiment.
Yeah, the reason that I'm talking about sacred sexuality is that sexuality is not, it doesn't equal sex. Because a lot of people, if they hear the word sexuality, it happened to me too in the beginning. Talking about sexuality, we normally think it's about sex. It's not, because sexuality is the whole spectrum of feeling yourself confident, you know, connecting with your body, intimacy, safety, all these kind of things. And sex is the intercourse. It's the act. So there is a whole spectrum between these two. And what makes sexuality? I'm coming from a abuse background, right? And it helped me. My abuse background. I was being abused by a brother, and a few more men, and it helped me to develop myself by a lot of healing, doing spiritual work and treatments. And while I was working with myself, healing myself, during this transformational period, you know, I started to discover that there was more than only the sexuality I knew from the mind. And I started to connect myself with my heart and my soul. And then I started to discover the deeper meaning of sexuality. And I discovered that the ultimate goal of sexuality is to return to our own essence, to return to the total state of self-love, self-acceptance, and self-recognition.
Right.
And I discovered it's the power of the source. So it had a higher meaning. That's why it became sacred for me. Right. And sexuality is also our creation energy, right? It's our creative force within that we are using to make babies, to enjoy sex, but first of all, to make babies as well. That means that we have a tremendous power inside of us.
Right.
And if we are able to use it, to use this power to create that life that we really want as our creative force that we already have inside of us, you know, then we become the creator that we already are, but right. consciously. And then we can tap into the source within and becoming more and more independent and not beg for love and recognition and acceptance by others. Right. That means that our relationships are changing too. Because, you know, Patricia, I really believe that if we are willing to consider that the ultimate goal of our sexuality is to return to our self-love, self-acceptance, and self-recognition, that we will make ourselves happy, we will identify, return to the true identity, and become happy again, and joyous again, and self-confident. And if we are happy, we create happy families. And happy families create a different world.
Right.
I hope that this is an answer on your question, because it's a major topic, you know, and there are so many elements. There are so many elements that we can explore. And during the process of transformation, you know, I still till now, I'm always discovering new aspects on it.
Right.
think, oh my God, this is a major topic, and it's a magical journey. If you can take it as a magical journey, because it is magical just to rediscover ourselves,
Right.
to get reconnected with ourselves. I think that's a true purpose of you, of us as human beings, right?
Yeah,
Just
definitely
to,
an educational aspect, because people have to learn more about it. Because, like you say, a lot of these intricacies,
yes.
you know, people might know a little bit here and there, but there's a lot more involved. So really understanding and learning about it, you know, is really, I agree. It's like the key to happiness, you know.
It is the key to happiness, but it's also the key to a better world, for a better world. I truly believe that working on our sexuality is the answer to get more peace and happiness in our world, and more equality.
Right.
I truly believe it.
No, you're right.
And because it has created a lot of inequalities between men and women.
Right.
And if we learn to love ourselves ultimately, you know, just as from our heart and soul, we become different people. We never beg for love anymore.
Right.
So it's not somebody else's duty just to make us happy,
Right.
or to fulfill us,
Right.
because the fulfillment is already here.
That's always a big issue with a lot of people, where you're right, they don't feel whole, they don't feel loved, so they're searching for that answer in other people. And then, you know, it becomes a whole domino effect where, like, you're giving somebody the guilt because they're not making you feel the way that you should have felt before you even met this person. It's a lot of issues.
Yeah, it is a confusion, because it's not the duty of somebody else to fulfill us. And, you know, what I learned from my relationships with men, and also with other people, it's not only a romantic relationship, it's everybody has a lesson to learn. Everybody, I believe that in every event, there is a soul lesson. And, you know, it is triggering the inner child, all the wounds of the inner child within. And it helped me to heal a lot of inner child wounds.
Right.
And to know that was the inner child who had been damaged by the sexual abuse and all these kind of events in my life, you know, it was screaming for love. It was screaming for my own attention.
Right.
And to be carried by me to become the mother of it. Right. So that is what it helped me a lot, you know, just to heal myself, to heal the inner child.
Right.
And
it's
I
amazing
always
that you've overcome all that.
Sorry?
That's amazing that you've overcome all that, and you not only overcame it, but helping others to do the same.
Yeah. And, you know, that's why it is a magical journey. It is a very painful, I had a lot of hardships, but I'm so happy that I went through it.
Right.
Because it brought me all those magical discoveries about the sacredness.
Right.
And to discover my soul.
Right.
It helped me to open up my heart. Healing the inner child opened me to open my heart for love, and to know that I'm you know, that I'm worthy to love and to be loved. But I had to do all the work here inside of me with myself. And then discovering that it's nobody's duty, not even my children's duty, to make me happy.
Right.
It's so, yeah.
Nice. Now, how do you stay motivated and inspired to continue writing and teaching about personal development?
Because I know it's my mission, and I really want to fulfill. I'm so passionate that I need to fulfill this mission before I leave this planet.
Okay.
And that's the obligation, that's the passion that I have, and also the obligation that I am giving myself.
Right.
It is my mission, and it is motivating, because what motivates me if I'm experiencing a challenge is just to go inside, just to go inwards, and just to wonder what's happening here. Am I judging myself? Where am I? Am I in the inner child wound? And what is the wounds? You know, just to discover what's happening, and just to pour myself with lots of love. And then talking with myself, you know, working on my thoughts, and to fulfill myself, because I know, I really realize that I am the only one who can fulfill myself. It's nobody's duty. Right. And the moment that I still expect somebody else, even when it's my children, the moment that I'm expecting somebody else to fulfill me or to make me happy, I know that it's not a good place to be.
Right.
Then I'm saying to the universe, okay, guys, I have to become honest again. Sorry, please forgive me. I need to be honest with myself. It's not their obligation to fulfill me. I am here to fulfill myself. And then the peace returns, and I motivate myself, and and then there's then I gain a lot of power again, self-confidence, and then I continue to the next step.
Nice. Now, what advice would you give to someone who's struggling with understanding and accepting their sexuality?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What advice would you give to someone if they're struggling with understanding and accepting their sexuality?
Yeah, well, the advice that I gave them is to be easy with themselves, because their sexuality is unique, and they are not alone. It's not, it's something that's happening with everybody. I always tell my personal stories too, just to motivate the people and make them recognize their own problems, and to feel at ease and to feel safe, and to take baby steps, really in baby steps.
Right.
And not expecting to change everything in a very short time, because we have to be patient with ourselves and develop self-compassion. Self-compassion is a major thing. And just to be, what I'm doing to the advice is just to realize that all the things that are happening, that it might be a repetitive something that has been repeating. I can't pronounce the word right now.
Yeah.
That has been repeating from their past. That maybe their mothers had it. It was coming from their mother line, the ancestral lines, and just to recognize if they have the same pattern like their mother or their grandmother, and if so, then know that it's not your fault, that you have inherited it from your own ancestral lines. So why should you beat yourself up if it's not something that you have created?
Right. And people don't realize when they're, 9 months in a womb, you're feeding off of your mom's, her stress, her issues, her feelings, her thoughts, and you're just born with it. Yeah,
it's all energy. These are all energies we are all being fed with. We are all take it in. We take it in. And she did it with all the things that she experienced while she was in the womb of her own mother.
Right.
It goes back for generations and generations and generations. Right. So what I'm doing also in my work is just to cut off the cords of ancestral lines.
Right.
It's so very important, because it's important just to return to our own energetic fields.
Right.
And to discover and be there, because that's the purpose of our soul journey, just to discover ourselves and be here in our own fields of energy.
No, 100%. Now, how can we learn to be more comfortable talking about sexuality and personal growth?
How we can learn about it is just to, start. What I did is to start with in a small group. It might be with a group, good friend, because what I discovered is a lot of people, they don't talk about their sexuality because we are all shamed about it. That if something happens, that we are not even able to share it with our best friends. So start with your best friends in baby steps.
Right.
And then maybe with more friends, develop just make the group a little bit bigger. And finally, just get yourself somebody, a coach, where you feel safe to work on.
Right. Even having the confidence to just not worry about what other people think. You have to be true to you.
Yeah, because realize that if you don't work on your sexuality, you're blocking happiness. Because then you're living from. It might be that you're all the time you're living from a space of the inner child horns, and that you might stay in a place of begging for love.
Right.
And if you want to go beyond that, then take the step to get yourself a coach and work on it.
Right.
Baby steps.
No, it makes sense. Now, what kind of impact do you think creating more and open conversations around sexuality can have on society?
Oh, it will change our society, I'm sure, because more openness about our own sexuality is creating a lot of more openness in our communication.
Right.
And it creates equality. Today, it creates equality. And Women's Day, people are celebrating being a woman.
Right.
Celebrating the true value of women.
Right.
And it is all about equality. It's all about equality. And if we as women feel ourselves equal to other people, and men feel themselves equal to other people too, if we both are able to feel ourselves equal towards each other,
right,
we will be able to live more in happiness and peace with each other,
right,
and in openness. And the more you open up about these kind of topics, the more I believe abuse will, how do you call it, decrease.
Right. Yeah, because it's, there's a lot of talk lately about equality. And I guess it's a slow hurdle because it's been generations of people treating people a certain way. And, men always seen as the powerful ones, and women are always seen as they should just clean the house and make babies. That's their job, and now women want to be equal. There's a constant battle. But I think, with that being such a hot topic, treating everybody alike and learning how to accept yourselves and not look at somebody else as better or worse. You're your own person. I think that's needed in the world. Yeah, it starts with your own self. Right. The more you become self-confident, the more you become, you are aware with who you are. Right. If you can embrace yourself in your own self-confidence, accept yourself just the way as you are, with all your flaws and all your good things, everything, right, you're becoming authentic and you're more powerful just to stand for yourself. Right. Now, you want to talk a little bit more about what you do and like all the aspects of what you do and how people can benefit from this? Yes, what I'm doing is I'm helping women and men also, but mostly women, to become aware of their womanhood, who they are, right, become aware of the blocks in their body, how they think about their body, whether they reject it, and most of them, we all reject our body, right? Right. Well, social media doesn't help. Yeah, social media and media in general doesn't help. It just makes, like I said, that song that's out, I Know Victoria's Secret. I said that song should have been out decades ago because, people always have this persona that I need to be super skinny. I need to be this. I need to be that because that's just what society wants. It's not even real. It's just be true to you, because some people just physically can't be that way. It's just not possible. That. I totally agree with you. I agree with you because, if you don't accept your own body, your physical body is your first home here on this planet. Right. It's your first home where your soul is coming in, right? And descending. And if you don't feel home in your own physical body, you're not going to feel home on this planet in this life. Life will remain a challenge. So I teach them just to embrace, just to live in their own home. Right. And to discover their female or their masculine sexuality, to embrace it, to discover what it means to them. Right. And just to embrace it and to fulfill themselves. And just cutting cords with ancestral lines so they can return to their own energetic fields, right, and build their own lives from there. And the thing is that most people, if they have worked in a few sessions already with me, they discover that they discover the soul path. Okay, good. And they discover the soul path, and they discover what they want to do here in their life. Right. What's their mission and how to develop it. Right. Oh, it's super important. It is important, but first they need, it is important just to discover your own heart desires. Right. And just to get connected with your soul. Right.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets a little tricky because, like you said, when people hear sexuality right away, they just think, oh, this is a porno show. Where, it has nothing to do with that. It's, different choice of word. Maybe it's just teaching people how to embody yourself and, be happy with who you are and accept who you are. And, it's funny where I guess there was such a push towards the physical that I think cosmetic surgeons are just raking in the big bucks right now because everybody wants to change everything. And they're like, we can make that happen for you. I mean, some of this cosmetic stuff, you look at these pictures and you're like, oh my God. But, yeah, it's making money for them, but it's also destroying these people. Like when you see these before and after photos, I mean, it's horrible. But teaching people to accept yourself. You were beautiful before. You didn't have to do all of that. And I think now that the world's starting to accept a lot of this, it's going to change for the better because, changing your physical appearance is just one aspect of everything. And like you say, expecting other people to fill voids for you and, help you to feel that love that you should be feeling for yourself. And it's just like a domino effect of a lot of issues. And I think
it is, nobody is here to fill the void for you.
Right.
You are, just fill it in a way you think that's good for you.
Right.
And it is your soul. It was my sole purpose to fill my own voids.
Right.
And the moment that I could fill my own voids, I could receive others.
Right. Yeah, people don't realize that, the domino effect, like you say, about, external forces from way back when, how it affects you decades later, and
yes.
like, people, it's tricky when you have somebody helping you, you realize that maybe a pattern of your life has just been going on and on and on over something that happened when you were 10 years old or something that you thought or you heard or you believed or you saw. And letting that go. And sometimes they need an outside person to kind of guide them and say, do you even realize? Because most people don't see it themselves. But to say, do you even realize that this is what you're doing? And let's find out why. And, it's like a burden taken off of you, like, wow, I feel so much better now, because you didn't know.
Yeah. And, the thing is that most of all, sometimes we believe that we have to do it ourselves.
Right.
But it's not. And I've done a lot of, I can't say about myself, but I've done a lot of transformational work, but still now I'm in programs just to stay on track.
Right.
Because I know I need it.
Right. And like you say, we're all a work in progress and we're on a journey here in this world. So,
yes.
Understanding who we are, where we come from, like you say, your soul's purpose, it doesn't just end, it's constantly evolving and learning and discovering. And, we're only here for a short amount of time. So you have to make the best of what we have,
Yes. Yes. Yeah, for sure. And just to enjoy life, even when it is challenging, there are always aspects in our life, even in the challenge too, to be grateful of.
It's a tricky part when you're dealing with stuff because I actually wrote a book, Life's Obstacles Can Be Your Greatest Motivators, because it talks about a lot of the hurdles and things that I've gone through in life. And it's just meant to show other people if they're dealing with stuff, like you're not alone, hang in there. You could do this, but it is hard, like when you're dealing with stuff, to kind of see the positive, but it is important because one, that's what will keep you sane, because if you get sucked into that black hole of negativity, it's nothing good comes out of that. But it is important for people to see, like everybody says, every bad thing is a learning experience. You always see that after the fact, but at that time you're like, oh my God, it's hard to see that as a positive, but we have to have faith that the universe doesn't just throw bad stuff at us just because it has nothing else better to do. There's a purpose for it. There's a reason for it, and we have to grow from it. And again, it's hard to see that at the time, but
yeah, it is. One thing that always helped me is that if I'm in the middle of a huge challenge, it happens sometimes. The further you grow, the bigger the blocks and the breakdowns, right? That's part of it. That's part of it. So the moment that I started to realize that I could accept it,
right.
That's something that I'm teaching my clients too. The further you come, the more experience you get, the bigger the breakdowns. So accept it and see it as a confirmation of your own strength.
Right.
Because otherwise the universe is not going to give me anything to carry if you're not able to bear it.
Right.
Never.
I've heard that expression.
You're just carrying and you're just bearing what you can. You're getting what you can bear.
Right. Yeah, they always say
it's a confirmation, it's a compliment in one way or another. It's a compliment, right?
I'm trying to remember how the expression went. It's true that it keeps giving you bigger and bigger things to handle, preparing you for this great thing in the end. So,
because and the sooner or not sooner, the more you are able and willing to overcome those breakdowns, the more power you gain, the more self-confidence you gain. So that means that you're discovering yourself, you're discovering your greatness, and that's something that I always keep in mind. This is bringing me, because I'm not there yet. I'm walking my path towards the real greatness that is coming. And all the challenges, these are all parts of the greatness. It is a matter of changing the perspective. And so it needs, it's 24/7 working on it, being aware. It's and being mindful of myself, being there with myself, and just be aware of what we think, and be aware of your emotions, be aware of you're in the state of victim. Are you still blaming others? And what does it mean if you're blaming others, that you're not taking care of yourself or looking for fulfillment by others? And then take the next step and be honest towards yourself and the other person, and love yourself more, fulfill yourself more.
Yeah, for sure. Now, what do you hope people will gain from this show?
I hope that people learn that we are all in the same path, right? We are all learning, and we are one moment we are students, and the other moment we are teachers. We are all learning, still learning, and that you are not alone, and that the ultimate goal of our sexuality, even when it seems so very hard, is to return to self-love, self-acceptance, and self-recognition. That's the ultimate goal. And keep that goal in mind. Just keep it in mind. If you're experiencing heartbreaks and all these kind of stuff, keep it in mind that the heartbreak is necessary to bring you to a whole heart, to a healed heart. And the healed heart is bringing you to your soul.
Nice. Now, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can reach out. They can reach me on my website, and it's www.janeharidat.com. And if they want to get me to have a free conversation of 30 minutes, they can book it on my website.
And you work with people around the world?
Yes, globally. That's my passion.
No, good. So people know, because everybody will be like, I don't know, can I fit a vacation into Hawaii right now? But you don't have to physically be in Hawaii. So you can help you out.
No, I'm working online and offline. I'm working online and mostly online, because that's the way I reach the whole world, right? I have clients from all over the world.
Okay, good. Nice.
Yeah. And I'm working with men and women.
Okay, good.
All genders.
Nice. Well, thanks again for being on the show. Again, that was Jane Haridat. Thanks for listening to Successful Minds with Patty B. Never miss an episode by subscribing to the show here. So thank you again.
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Successful Minds with your host, Patricia Baronowski-Schneider. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we'll see you on the next episode.